Welcome to TAMA Talks, brought to you by the Torrance Art Museum Advocates. I'm Janine Madden, current TAMA president, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Today, we will be discussing work which is currently on view in the main gallery at the Torrance Art Museum in a show called Risky Business, a painter's forum, curated by Marie Thibeault and Max Presneill. The focus of the show seeks to address how the concerns and expectations of AI begin to dominate the narrative in our increasingly technologically dependent society. Some artists reply with the personal mark, risk-taking, chance, the unknown endpoint, the illogical, or the mystery to produce a reflection of a living, very human experience. The exhibition is on view through May 4th, and the museum is located at 3320 Civic Center Drive in Torrance. It's open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The admission to the Torrance Art Museum is free and donations are gratefully accepted. This discussion is being recorded and will be posted to our YouTube channel with all of our previous TAMA Talks. You can access it from our website at www.tamadvocates.com. We are joined today by artist Galen Cheney. Galen is a painter's painter. Her education as a painter began at Mount Holyoke College and continued at the Maryland Institute College of Art, where she received her MFA and was mentored by Grace Hartigan. Is it Hermine Ford?
Hermine.
Hermine Ford. And
Yes.
Salvatore Scarpitta, among others. She was born in Los Angeles and has traveled widely, though has spent most of her life in New England, where she feels a deep connection to her roots, the land, and centuries-old architecture. Cheney's work has been exhibited and collected in the US, Canada, China, the UK, and Europe. She has had many past residencies and fellowships and will be attending the Pouch Cove residency in Newfoundland in 2024. Her work has been published in literary journals and magazines, including New American Paintings, Tupelo Quarterly, Berkshire Magazine, and Art New England. And she was nominated for a Joan Mitchell Foundation grant in painting. She lives and works in North Adams, Massachusetts. The creative process and the exploration and manipulation of materials are the chief drivers of her work. They are the engine and the fuel. Experimentation, risk-taking, and pushing her own boundaries are ongoing concerns, always with an eye toward gritty beauty and palpable energy. This energy alternately recalls natural forces or more urban frequencies. The work she is currently making is a deepening of work that started during a residency in China in 2015. She uses fragments of past paintings, old receipts, used airline tickets, remnants of past experiences, and works them into the texture of a new painting. Using a process that is additive and reductive, these fragments become one with the surface, imbuing the painting with memory, history, a sense of time, and an accidental quality similar to graffiti to which she is drawn. Paintings made this way, built really, have a distinct object-like quality for which she strives. So thank you so very, very much for joining us today, Galen. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so this is the piece that you have currently on view at the TAM as part of Risky Business, Perceiver. This is a large piece, 72 by 60. And so I love the idea. I'm just going to read. It's oil, acrylic, glitter, and grommets on collaged and cut canvas. So
yeah, I just threw everything at this one. Trying to get something to land. Yeah.
So please tell us about it. Tell us about your process. Tell us how you chose this particular piece for the show.
Okay. Well, like a lot of my paintings, it's almost hard to trace the history of it because they go through a lot of changes and iterations. I'll work on multiple pieces at the same time. and add a little something, cut something out, kind of get stuck, put it aside, work on something else, come back to the other thing. So this piece, let's see, I probably started it maybe, gosh, possibly 5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, and an earlier version of it actually was exhibited at the University of Dallas just before the pandemic. And then it came back, and as I'm definitely not in any way precious with my work. If something doesn't hold up over time, uh, I will definitely kind of go back into it, and kind of bring it up to the level of where I feel like I'm working now. I'm always trying to, become a better, stronger painter. And, unless a work has been sold and I don't have, access to it anymore, it might be in danger. So,
Yeah, that's so
so
interesting that you choose to
yeah,
modify a piece as opposed to starting over. But I actually like that.
right. So this is a piece that was never stretched. It was always sort of falling loose like this. It kind of hangs like a tapestry or a scroll from a rod.
Okay.
And when I work this way, it's very open-ended, and it allows me to add, an entire panel to the painting, or remove a piece. I can change the size and shape of it. And it's a little hard to see in this slide, but you can kind of see these horizontal seams going across towards the bottom. Yeah, so those are different panels that were adhered together.
Oh,
When you're
okay.
standing in front of the piece, you can really this stuff really reads, and you can see it. And now you're in the section with the grommets.
I see them.
And the the last thing that I did with this painting to complete it, um, was to actually cut into it, which is
Uh,
up at the top. A lot of the white areas,
this
mm,
or
the
this.
super white, yeah, those shapes, yeah, those are actually cut out, and
Oh, oh,
that's
I
the
can
back
see the
wall.
lip right here.
That's the back wall showing through. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah, so I really
Oh, wait, that's the back wall showing
yeah,
through?
right.
Like, so
Yeah,
this is basically just a cutout. If you were to
that's
hold it up,
right.
you'd see through it.
That's right.
Oh my. Wow.
Yeah, and even some of the white, I kind of like I like this idea of you kind of have to figure out the
Mhm,
painting, or how it was made, or what happened first. And
mhm.
I'm attracted to that idea of kind of, it's not exactly tricking the viewer, but you
Well,
don't
it
you don't get it.
engages you, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it engages you. It doesn't, you don't get it right away, or you might think that you do. And if you walk by it, you'll perceive it on one particular level, but you might be missing some of the things that are happening there.
Absolutely. I think one of the things with people who are beginning to develop a fondness, let's just say, for abstract work, is that the longer you stand in front of it, the more that you are going to gain
Hmm.
from what the artist is trying to convey through the mark making, and in this case, the removal of work, which is
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah, and in a practical sense, because I live in Massachusetts, the fact that it's not stretched was really easy. I could just roll it up and put it in a tube and ship it off. So
Okay.
those
Okay.
are, real world concerns that artists have to consider.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I was chatting with Suzanne and she was saying that her piece is enormous as well. And she was saying that she rolled it, sent it, and then shipped the stretchers from New
Yeah,
York as well.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that is the piece, is it the Sam Gillian piece in DC? I think that's just big draped, beautiful, either in
Hmm.
DC or Denver, big draped, beautiful
Yeah,
fabric. But
yeah, yeah.
all right, so let me here you are. And
Mhm.
this was at the opening, yes?
That was at the opening.
Okay,
Yep.
and you can sort of see that.
Right. You can see the shadows.
Yeah, you see it now, and you can see, yes, the shadows in here, and wow. Oh, and those little pieces that you're talking about.
Right.
Mhm. And
Oh,
so this is, yeah, this is Marie. Um,
yay.
yeah,
Yeah, it was really, so this is interesting. Marie and Audrey Tumiliero Welch,
yes.
who was also in the show, the three of us do a monthly Zoom call.
Oh,
We've been doing that for about the last year and a half.
oh my. Okay.
And yeah, we just talk, I mean, art is sort of the organizing principle, right? But we've really become friends, and it's been fantastic. And so when I came out for the show, um, that was the first time we actually all met. So that was
Oh, like
really
in real life, it was the
in
first
real
time
life.
you met?
Yeah, that was really special.
How
Yeah.
did you come together?
It was we had Audrey invited me to be part of this Zoom group, and the
Yes,
rest of it kind of fell apart, but Audrey and I stayed connected, and then we invited Marie, and we kind of became our own little mini tribe. So yeah.
fantastic. Audrey very graciously also did a TAMA talk, and it was fabulous. So every single artist that has done one in this show has just been kind of mind blowing, right? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stunning.
it's an incredible show. I feel really, really fortunate to be a part of it.
Okay. So I have so many questions about these works. So when you sent this to me, it's called Advent Side
Yes,
A.
right.
So
Right. So this is the
sure.
thing about making this kind of work. I mean, I'm busily working away on the front, and I'm in this case, I'm actually weaving through it. So I've ripped up other pieces and sliced into the first canvas, and I'm weaving these pieces through it and then continuing to paint. But meanwhile, the backside is developing, unbeknownst to me in a way.
Right. I
And
was just going to say, you don't really know.
and
Okay.
inevitably, it's always so much cooler. Like, yeah, it's always better. It's like the intention kind of, I don't know. But
That's so
anyway,
interesting.
so you'll probably see, we'll probably have a slide of the
I,
back. So
I think you do. Now, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to take a quick peek. Yeah.
yeah, so that's
So
the
what
back,
you're saying is that this is what you were working on, but
right?
when you flipped it, this is what you saw. Or
Right.
did you
Although
also
I have to
augment it?
confess, I think originally this was the front, and then
Oh,
it wasn't working, but the back was really cool. So I
okay.
started developing this.
Okay.
And then then it was like this back and forth.
Yes.
Um and so I mean, this isn't just what naturally happened on the back either. So I work into it a little bit.
Sure. But you can see all of your, I don't know if this is from this piece or not, but you can see your efforts here on the ground.
Right. Right.
So that, but I love that idea of um what the
Very,
box
yeah.
looks like.
I'm just intrigued with it myself, honestly.
Yeah. Wow. It's sort of like, it reminds me a little bit of when you are doing, and not that I do this, but I did a long time ago, embroidery. And when you turn it over,
Yeah.
you get either, if you're a really good embroidery person, you get a very
It's nice and neat.
organized, right? And
Yeah,
if you're not, you get a lot of
right.
abstract
There
pieces,
you go.
thread that are traveling across the back of them. Yeah,
Hmm.
how funny.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the one. Oh, I should send you another picture. This one is actually quite different now.
Really? Send
Yeah.
it. You know what? Send it and I'm not sure I can work it in, but I can work when I post it, I can work it and then just tell people, this is the piece that we were looking at, but this is what it looks like now. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I have to say that idea of Barbara Friedman. When we were chatting with Barbara, I asked her to uh, share an image of the work when it was just in its abstract form without that realism piece in there.
Right.
She very graciously did, and it was amazing. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really happy with this piece now. I mean, it's like there was a lot here that I felt like was working. I like what's happening with the sort of ambiguous space, particularly up, like the upper left. Yeah, like with the stripes, what's in front, what's in back,
Yeah.
those kinds of interruptions where you kind of lose your footing a little bit. I mean, I like that kind of off kilter feeling in my work. I mean, I feel like that's the place where I make my best work when I'm in that state myself, when I'm a little off balance, and I'm not, both feet aren't fully planted on the floor. For me, that's when I make the work that I find most interesting. And I like the work itself to kind of have that feeling as well.
I have to say, as I have an opportunity to chat with so many of the artists in the show, that particular statement does keep arising. This idea that
Mhm.
certain emotional, I'm not sure emotional is right, but like a psychological state that you're in, where
Yeah,
it's the sweet spot, right? When you're in it, you are just
yeah,
creating work that you resonate with.
right.
So I hope it was okay that I put these two together on the same slide.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting for me, my studio isn't very big and I've got so much in there that I don't often have the opportunity to see things side by side like this. So it's interesting to see for me how what I think of as, well, not entirely separate, but they're somewhat separate bodies of work. One being this, collaged, woven, yeah, I'm not even sure what to call this work yet. Versus like the stretched, cleaner, a little more traditional format work.
Sure. Although, when you look at it, and perhaps this was completely unintentional on my part, but these horizontal
Mhm.
red marks are very, they kind of flow over here as well. So,
It makes total sense. I mean, it's all coming from me. It's
right,
just,
exactly.
I'm approaching it in a different kind of way, but I resolve things the same way, and things sort of feel, I don't know, they feel resolved for me in the same kind of way, I'm kind of trying to get at the same sort of feeling, maybe using
Sure.
different materials. So it makes total sense that they would speak to each other.
And
Yeah.
so what you're saying here is when you create these woven works, are they actual paintings that you've previously completed that you've cut?
It's a mix.
Okay.
That there's that in it, and then the black and white checks. I painted that panel on the left separately because I'm
Ah,
trying to make this thing work. And I've got, if you saw my studio, I've got just piles of these kinds of materials that I've generated.
okay.
Little passages, color, thoughts, patterning, all this kind of thing that I've been working on, but hasn't necessarily made its way into a piece yet. So I've got a
Sure.
lot of things to kind of pull from.
Mhm.
So I think I probably had that black and white checkered uh, piece that I made for something and never used it. And so I thought, oh, this will work here. And then after that, then I worked in like all of that black and white on the right hand side. That's all painted on top.
Oh, this.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
that's
Okay.
all painted. So again, it's sort of like it's a little bit illusionistic, like you're seeing the actual physical weaving and the squares,
Yes.
canvas going through canvas, and then there's also this painted,
Weave. Yeah.
yeah, the painted weave, right?
Wow. Stunning. So cool. And I know that this is not this, but it's almost as if you used some of this to make this, but I know that that's not the case, but there is a relationship between the two, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you find that you use a similar palette of color for all of the work that you make?
I mean, I've got my favorites.
Okay.
I, as you'd mentioned in the intro, I am still very drawn to graffiti and have been for a long time. And
Okay.
for me, it's that combination of the kind of the neon color and this like the literal kind of grittiness, and as well as that feeling of things being, layered, like one on top of another, and maybe even, ripped off, and you know what I mean? So there's
Yes.
that
Yeah.
quality. I mean, right now I'm working a little bit more on just oil painting for a particular project, and I'm forcing myself to, use colors that don't come naturally, just
Sure.
to expand my vocabulary. Yeah.
Yeah, and interestingly, too, that is exactly what Suzanne had said too, that she uses colors that are just not they're very different than these, but they have a similar quality. So
Mhm.
it's wonderfully,
Yeah, I
wonderfully
think that things sort of,
creative.
I think we're just kind of naturally drawn to a certain palette or certain
Mhm.
color combinations, and I think we got to kind of step out of that from time to time too.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is Twisted Diva, and
Yes.
this is Dream Machine.
Yes.
All right, let's keep going. Oh yeah, Dreamboat.
And there's a dream again. It's a dream
Love
boat.
it. Love
Me
it.
too.
Love it.
I
There is
showed
some
it once.
quality about this that is I am really drawn to. It's sort of very Tim Burton-esque for me.
Mhm. I can see that.
Yeah. Wow. Like Matisse, it's kind of like there's a lot in here. It's beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm seeing it's again, it's one of those pieces that, like every piece, the longer you stay in front of it, the more you extract from it visually and
Mhm.
viscerally. Like it's cool.
Yeah, this is a piece that I made. I did a little residency up in Buffalo last June.
Okay.
Um, mm, and it culminated in a show at the Buffalo Artist Studio. And I really focused on, these kinds of woven pieces. So this was also like I brought a bunch of work with me that needed to be finished or kind of, I don't know, reinvented or made more interesting or whatever. So this was a piece that was actually mostly white when I brought it.
Oh
So all of
my.
the black is added and all of the woven parts are also added. I mean, I did a lot with it.
Wow. And that's, I mean, again, as foreign as it might seem for you to kind of more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sacrifice one painting for another. Basically, you are, for lack of a better word, destroying one to create a new one. That whole process is just amazing that work can kind of carry on from one to another, where when you're looking at the new piece, do you ever really think back to the original piece from which it had come?
It's hard. I would have to almost see a picture of it. It's so far
Okay,
in
sure,
the rear
sure.
view that,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I have never regretted making changes uh, in this kind of way, like the work that is like tapestry and very like woven and physical and textured and all of that. But I have regretted going over certain oil paintings. Like I will look back at earlier stages and just be like,
Oh, so
ah.
thinking.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the pace because this work is very slow and I can't really make any sudden moves with it. I have to really be very thoughtful.
Okay.
Whereas the oil painting, it's like I can just load up a brush and it's all over in 20 seconds. So yeah, I have definitely, I definitely
Yeah,
have regrets about painting over some paintings, but
sure.
it's all part of it.
Hopefully of an image.
Yeah, well, that's what's so painful.
That's true. Oh,
That's
yeah,
how I
remember
remember.
this piece?
Oh,
Right. That's
God.
true. That's true. Well, and again, I think, we haven't really touched on it yet, but the whole part of the show is that AI component. And I'm not
Right.
necessarily sure if the thought process behind it was a painter's response to AI to say, this is not, you are looking at something that could not be generated with artificial intelligence
Mhm.
under any circumstances.
Right.
Um, do you think that was the thought process behind a lot of the work? Do you think that's what artists were trying to convey in this
I,
particular
I
show?
don't think so. I honestly think that the artists were chosen because of the way that they work and
Okay.
how it really is. It's just so human. It's so
Yeah.
um, it is very much about being present in your, you know, in your emotion in that moment when you're making the work, you know.
Right. And that sort of speaks to the idea of you kind of going back and, like you said at the beginning, going back and changing a piece because maybe you're looking for it to reflect that state
Right. It's just like
currently.
it's an ineffable thing. You can't really input that into a computer to get a certain result, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Everyone has been, everybody is along that same idea that this isn't necessarily a response, but more so oh, I'm not good with my words today. It's not a response, but it's more so of a here's what I do. And this cannot really be replicated
Right.
no matter how hard you try.
Right. Right.
Oh, I love this. In her wake is an acrylic and oil on canvas.
Yeah. So this is a very straightforward example of taking one thing and weaving it into what had been a finished painting. So like the substrate there, the foundational piece in the back with the border, that was a stretched painting. And this was actually just much more straightforward. And then I painted this other piece of canvas with sort of this graduated color of kind of this really hot pink through the orange and up into the yellow and just wove it right into that other painting. And yeah, I was just,
Oh, I see. So this is actually okay. So the underneath painting has
yeah,
been cut so that this is actually the underneath painting coming through.
exactly.
Oh, wow. These at first when I looked at it, I thought these were maybe holes, but it's actually woven through.
Right. And you
Okay.
will see, I think in the next picture, you'll see the reverse of that.
Okay, hold on, let me see.
Mhm.
Oh,
And there it is.
yes.
Again, it's like, do I like the back more? Maybe.
Wow.
I just really, I don't know. This is because I'm so drawn to these really bright colors. Um, it's it's always interesting for me to see like, oh, this is my intention. I have these big ideas and whatever. And then the back is always like, subtle,
Yeah, it's
and
so much more subdued, but
it's
also engaging.
it's subdued, and it feels like it's kind, I don't know, it's like the two faces of Eve. The two
Yes, and
faces of Eve or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's very oh, it's very like reptilian back here.
Mm,
Really nice.
mhm.
Very cool.
Right. So the the
Oh,
the,
sorry,
sur-
do you
the
wanna?
surface and the texture itself become really the kind of the subject matter there. Yeah.
Right. And again, when I was looking at this, I really truly just thought that you had woven this so that there were holes looking through, but you've actually woven the fabric
Yeah. So the two are woven together. Yeah.
together.
Hmm.
Wow. That'd be so cool to see in person. Is this in your studio too?
So that actually it was in a show in Milwaukee that just closed. So
Okay.
we'll be
Okay.
coming back. Yeah.
And so in this case, how is it hung? Because how do you see the other side?
So the curator there, hung it from, he like folded the top over a rod,
Okay.
hung
So you
it,
can
sort
see.
of in the middle of the room so that you could see both sides of it. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's so wonderful. That's great. Is it Saturnia?
Yeah. And this is a painting that has evolved, and been a couple of different other things. Yeah, Saturnia it's like a hot springs in Italy.
Okay,
Right.
Saturnia, Turnia,
Saturnia,
Turnia,
yeah, and
Turnia.
who knows that the title might still change. I mean,
Right,
this
right.
paint is still wet.
Oh,
Just, yeah, I just, all of the sort of amber and gold kind of striped tubey type thing, those are all, and the black shapes, those are all new to this painting.
oh, these are new?
Yeah, I taped off,
Oh,
um, yep,
okay.
that and that blue area, and yep, I taped all of that off and
Yeah,
went through with these,
yes.
sort
I
of
learned
tubes.
about the taping from Audrey
Yeah,
and
there
the
you go.
masking. Yes.
Yes, yes.
My art, you know, process background has increased exponentially after
Yeah,
everyone
yeah, it's
talk
really
about the
fun.
process.
It's
And
really, really fun because you
and
sort of
so when you
draw with the tape and then
right.
don't quite, you have an idea, but you're not really sure what you're gonna get until you lift that tape off, and then it's always interesting.
And so is this like the sub painting? That's the
Yeah,
language.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it's cool. The layers are awesome. It's almost like the layers of your mood when you're painting it.
Hmm.
All right, let's see. Oh, so I had so many questions about this piece, synesthesia. Um, love this piece. This I
Thank
think was my favorite.
thank you.
Um, did you have music when you were playing this, or I mean, when you were painting this, or tell us a little bit about the process?
Well, this is a painting that came together over a long period of time. So I'm sure during some of the sessions I was listening to music, but it feels musical to me, and it's so much about sensation and, how those things come together and bounce off of each other.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I think
and I just love that word.
me too. I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, I mean, the Kandinsky reference, right? That idea of being a synesthete and
Yeah.
the fact that he could see, the fact that he could see music in color and that certain paint colors represented musical notes, and it's
Right.
fascinating to think about
Right. It really is.
the
It
whole
really is.
process. But I think from a color perspective, um, this for me was the most like, this is one of those paintings that you could hang in your place and look at it every day and see something different and feel something different every time you looked at it.
Well, I would really love for that to happen. It's
Yeah.
in my studio.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yeah, I
Okay.
really love this painting too. So this is again a much more straightforward oil on canvas painting. Yep.
Amazing.
But but still working in some of those ideas of, the stripes and the tubes and the patterning and yeah, but
Yeah,
very,
how you see them in each of the each work sort of has a very similar thread that runs through.
yeah. And I feel like, they kind of, in this painting, those elements kind of work to move you through the painting. You kind of land on one and then it takes you to the next, and it's almost like directional. You can kind
Yes.
of work your way through the painting by following
Mhm.
those stripes. Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, this was a Philip Gustiny one for me.
That's funny. A lot of people have said that, and I didn't get it at first, and then when I did, I was like, oh right, okay,
Yeah.
now I see what you're talking about.
He's very tubey and very like very, very this.
Yeah,
So, and the color too. There's a lot of red. So this is oil on canvas.
that's right.
Untitled, interestingly, untitled red.
Yeah. Well, now I'm calling it Rainbow Room.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think good
I
change.
like
Again,
it.
it's very new. It's very, very new.
Love it. Yeah,
Thank you.
very, very interesting piece. Very different um, than the piece we just saw.
Yeah,
But
it's kind of like
not.
zooming into one of those areas and blowing it up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you can, if these were side by side, then
Hmm.
all of this is there.
That's right.
You just have to
Yeah,
look for it.
right.
Yeah. Rainbow Room.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah. I like this scale. I like the feeling of the,
Yeah, this is a little smaller too. This is 33 by 25.
yeah, much smaller. Yeah.
Mhm. But still as impactful, right? It's still yeah, it is. There's a lot of movement and this is very dreamy to me.
Yeah. Thanks.
Each one is just better. I'm like, this is my favorite. So this is Whale Song
Yeah,
with acrylic marker spray paint on canvas. And this is also quite large,
it is.
63 by 72.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love this painting.
Me too.
Really, really love this painting. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. And sorry, I keep hitting that. But is this the seam that you were talking about, or is that just an artifact of the canvas?
I think that, yeah, no, that is actually a seam.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But I think that's the only place where that happens. Otherwise, this is not a collaged kind of piece. It has that feel to it,
Yes.
but it's
So all of these are intentionally left white or
yeah, those are just
cut? Okay,
painted. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. I'm drawn to this part up here. It feels very Greek.
Doesn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, it
That's
is.
just shown up. There might be another slide ahead,
Okay.
possibly, that has
Mhm.
that same kind of language in it.
Oh, that's it.
That's the
Well,
last one. Okay.
yeah, we could look through these all day. Fantastic. Well, I put up a link to your website this morning on our Facebook page to kind of as a little teaser for people to take a look at your work. But these pieces are just
Mm.
I'm so overwhelmed actually by the ones that you've chosen to talk about because they're just
Oh, thank you
fantastic.
so
They're
much,
so
Jenny.
good. Yeah, love them. Love, love, love. And I'm gonna move back to the piece that's at the TAM perceiver. And again, this piece is on view in Risky Business, a painter's forum in the main gallery at the Torrance Art Museum. I'm sorry I did not have a picture of where it is in the gallery. I may have. If I do, I'll throw it up on the Facebook page
Okay.
so that people can see where it is and can look for it. And with this show, like every other show, and if people tune into these talks regularly, I sort of say the same thing. But the idea is that spending time in front of this work is the goal, right? In a show like this, you really want to be able to just kind of plant yourself in front of it and
Yeah.
at it for more than 2 seconds when you walk by and say, "Oh, that was great." Like
Right.
walk through the whole museum and of 20 pieces of work, and even 20 minutes is just not enough time.
Right.
So plan, if you do go to see this show in particular, plan on spending some time and go for a walk in the pine wood. We have a little garden behind there,
Nice.
like a little koi pond behind the art museum that you can go into afterward. But uh, very contemplative, all of your work is, and this piece in particular. So let me get to the end. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you spending some time telling us a little bit about your work today. And we encourage folks to head over to the Torrance Art Museum to see it before it closes on the 4th.
This was really fun, Janine. Thank you.
Here are 3 pieces of Galen's work that I inadvertently missed when preparing the slideshow. Please be sure to visit her website at galencheney.com to see more of her fantastic work. Thanks so much for watching.